Welcome, Dan.
Yeah, great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. So it's an honor to finally host you in Seoul.
And
Would you like to introduce yourself?
yeah, I'm so excited to be here in Seoul. This is I'm here about 3-4 times a year. Jacob and I know each other extremely well. And look, Korea is so important to me, especially given my view of AI revolution, tech, Tesla. Of course, everything that we're doing, Eightco and Orbs. And I'm just so excited to just spend the evening with everyone here.
When did you arrive in Korea?
I arrived in Korea about 4 hours ago.
4 hours ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're on a two. I'm on a. I think I'll be gone total from New York about a month. So it's a world tour. A lot of that is talking about AI, tech, Tesla, the AI revolution, everything that we're doing at Eightco and Orbs. And look, I just view it. It's a fourth industrial revolution. It's such a special time as an investor. And it's trying to really talk to investors around the world, including here in Asia, about everything going on.
You're super famous for having a great fashion, and everyone here, including me, was very excited to see what outfit you picked today. So I actually wore black so that I wouldn't accidentally compete the Wall Street fashionista.
I love it. It's like, hey, everyone has their own fashion, and you're your own fashionista.
How is my fashion today?
I think on a scale 1-10, it's an 11.
Thank you very much. Then let's talk about Tesla right away. I saw Tesla's Q3 result recently. The revenue went up, but the profit wasn't quite what people expected. After hearing Elon Musk earnings call, what's your quick take on Tesla, how it's doing and where it's heading in?
Look, I believe Tesla today is the most undervalued AI name in the market. Because Tesla, going forward, it's not about cars. It's not about deliveries. It's about autonomous and robotics. That's the future. And I believe as a physical AI play, the two best physical AI plays in the market are Nvidia and Tesla. So even though numbers will continue to bounce around over the next, call it 2, 3, 4 quarters, with Tesla, we think the autonomous valuation alone is worth $1 trillion. And then you look at Optimus and robotics, it's my view Tesla will be $2 trillion market cap in early 2026, and will be a $3 trillion market cap potentially by the end of the year. And Musk right now is wartime CEO driving that, which is why we believe that it's a massive opportunity in Tesla here.
So it's not just about cars.
It's actually, I'd say cars today is a very small piece. It's about the future in terms of robotics and especially autonomous, which will be the rollout of robo-taxis. We think 30 to 35 cities within the next, call it 6 to 8 months. And then I believe they're going to have 80 and 90% market share in the autonomous market. That's the reason that you own Tesla. That's why Musk is going to get the $1 trillion pay package on November 6th. It's the reason Tesla is going to own probably 25% of XAI. And you cannot say AI without Tesla. It is going to be a massive piece of this build out.
I also have Tesla as well, and I think a lot of our audience would have Tesla as well. But it has a lot of fluctuations. How long do I have to hold on to this?
You have to drink some wine as it's actually, you can't get too crazy as it's time, but ultimately, you don't play Tesla for a week or for a month. You don't trade it, you own it. When it sells off, you buy more. Just like our view on Nvidia, massive AI, Palantir, as well as many other in tech. I think right now Tesla is hitting its most important chapter of growth ever. And that's why we believe $600 is a base case to where the stock goes over the next year. $800 is a bull case.
I 100% agree with your view on future will be the Tesla, but I think one of the so important point is the timing. So you see the robotics helping the household, everything, doing everything house chores. I can see it on YouTube, but it's actually hard to see it on current world, like who's actually using that robot to do the house chore. So when do you expect to be true, and what will be the biggest bottleneck to when is the biggest bottleneck to become that picture?
That's a great question. I think, well, first off, I think the next 2 years, the biggest growth opportunity for Tesla is autonomous. I mean, it's my view, an 8-year-old today won't need a driver's license when they're 15 or 16. Autonomous at scale, we believe you're going to be talking about 1 million to 2 million cyber cabs around the world, which will dwarf Tesla's financials today. You're going to need patience on it, just like I view Tesla today, where I viewed Nvidia in 2022, Palantir in 2021, and Apple in 2007. Like, that's my view relative to where we're going. In terms of Optimus and robotics, look, I think the first big use is going to be in factories. I think that is going to be prime for where you're going to see a lot of the scale and the rollout. But it's our view over the coming years, 1 of every 10 to 15 households is going to have a robot in the house. And that is the reason that I think they're going to really own this market.
I hope one day I'll have a robot in my house as well. Dan, the fight for AI is getting very hot. When you look at all the companies, do you think only one big winner like XAI will end up controlling everything? Or do you believe there will be many different winners where lots of AI companies can all grow and share the market?
Look, we've talked about it, and it's happened with the party. This AI party started 9 p.m. It's now 10:30 p.m. That party goes to 4 a.m. And in that party, there's going to be a lot of AI players in the dance floor, from Jensen to Karp to private companies to public. The bears will look through the windows and look into the party and say, okay, I'm just going to go upstairs and read a book. They're going to miss the biggest bull market that we've seen, in my view, ever. But it's going to be led by many players. But you have to think about this, like, it's not just about owning Nvidia. It's not just about owning Microsoft. You have to find the winners on autonomous, on the energy side, names like Eightco, which have been some of our favorites, names like Snowflake, MongoDB, Microsoft, AMD. And it speaks to our Ives ETF, which speaks to the 30 winners in this AI revolution. This is a tech bull market that's going to go on for another 2 to 3 years. We're in year 3 of an 8 to 10 year build out. The haters hate, they miss every bull market we've ever seen. I believe we're going into just the beginning of this next phase.
We're just at 10:30 p.m. now.
No, look, it's 10:30 p.m. Now, in the party, could there be glass on the dance floor? The DJ stops playing music. Maybe the cops come to the party for a while, thinking it's going to break up. So there's going to be some nervous times. DeepSeek, US-China trade, Fed, take your spot. But that party is going to go on to 4 a.m. And I view this much more, when it comes to dot-com bubble and some of the words, this is much more of a 1996 moment than the 1999-2000 bubble moment, where you look at the market in 1996, that was the historic run into the into 99, 2000. But to me, there's no crash at the end. This is not a bubble. It's a true fourth industrial revolution that we just happen to be living and investing in.
So it's not a bubble yet, and we'll be looking forward to AIs.
Exactly. Look, but the problem is that, everyone that's saying it's a bubble, right now, demand and supply for Nvidia chips are 10 to 1. Use cases are exploding around the world. The consumer piece hasn't even seen autonomous and robotics yet. You're going to have the most technology development we've had around the world ever. So I don't understand how people call it a bubble, given in the tech bubble, the average tech company was trading at 32 times revenues. Today in the US, the average tech company is trading at 27 times earnings.
Okay. Dan, you're the chairman of Eightco Holdings, and we have the CEO today as well. And
Stand up.
he's
Kevin O'Donnell, chairman. I'm chairman. He's CEO.
Yeah.
One of the best people that I've ever worked with. Yeah.
And we know you are invested in Worldcoin through them. For investors who are watching right now, what's the single strongest reason why they should invest in Eightco Holdings? And in simple words, what's the biggest opportunity or the golden point investors are missing out about Eightco?
And first of all, thanks for using that term golden.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. This is not a treasury company. It's not that.
Yeah.
This is a tech AI infrastructure company, given my belief and our belief that what Sam Altman and Alex built with World, that's going to be the single sign-on in an AI future. You're going to need human proof in a future of bots, robots, and where everything's going in terms of AI. The trillions of dollars being spent, this is essentially going to be an authentication layer. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because this is just the beginning of this journey to what we're doing at Eightco in terms of, our goal is to own 800 million Worldcoin. And I believe investors are just going to start to see the opportunity for this company as it not just penetrates the consumer around the world, but enterprises, companies.
To add on to this, we've seen multiple sharp drops of 30% to 40% in a short period of time. What specific measures, such as utilizing market makers or other mechanisms, is the company employing to manage this stock price volatility?
Yeah, look, it goes back to when it comes to stock price, Palantir was a $10 stock and no one cared. And now at 200, the cab driver in Seoul is talking about Palantir. I could say the same thing for Nvidia, Tesla, and so many of the companies that I've covered for 25 years. What we're doing here, this is not about a stock over the next week, 2 weeks, month. We're building what we believe is going to be the single sign-on in AI future. And the valuation will take care of itself. But the one thing I'd say is that investors are still massively underestimating where this is all heading. You're not getting to the heights of the AI revolution without human proof and whatever you use a single sign-on in the AI world. That's what World is. At Eightco, that's what we're doing. And I tell you right now, I'm more bullish and positive about what we're doing than even before we launched the transaction in September.
Dan, the chip sector is super important for both the US and Korean stock markets. When Nvidia stock moves, big Korean companies like Samsung and SK Hynix feel it the next day as well. So what's your view on Nvidia's future? Their growth rate is starting to slow down a bit. So do you think they can keep reporting this amazing, strong earnings results?
Look, there's one godfather of AI, and that's Jensen. And I believe Nvidia is going to be a $5 trillion market cap and ultimately a $6 trillion market cap, because it's my view, this is just the beginning of the AI build-out, not just on enterprise, but on consumer. There's more data centers being built than active data centers today. And I think Nvidia is a name where investors are massively underestimating the scale and scope and where numbers are going to head over the next year, 2 years, 3 years. And then when you think about US-China negotiations, when Nvidia, and when I say when, not if, it's a matter of, from a negotiation perspective, China is going to be a massive, massive market like it has been, but I even think more, which is why we think you could be looking at $250, $275 stock.
We'll move on to the next question.
댄이 가지고 있는 어떤 시장에 대한 관점, 기업에 대한 관점이 있는데 시장이나 아니면 다른 투자자들이 가장 동의하지 않는 부분은 어떤 의견인지 궁금합니다.
It's a great question. I think investors, they always play skeptics. Oh, this can't continue. This has to be a bubble. The OpenAI circular financing between Nvidia and AMD. Oh, this is going to be, a red flag moment. But the haters hate. The bears sound smart. The bulls make money. And investors continue to underestimate the scale and scope of this fourth industrial revolution. And that's why, people that call it a bubble, I view it as you're going to have $3 to $4 trillion spent on tech build out over the next 3 years. You have $7 trillion in the sidelines and money markets just in the US. Fed's going to be cutting significantly, not just this year, but into next year, especially when Powell's replacement happens. In my opinion, you're going to have US-China, some trade framework that's mapped out. That's as bullish a scenario that I've seen, but a lot of times investors from here to here, they continue to miss the trends and always worrying about what could go wrong. And that's why, like I say, this is such an exciting investing landscape. So many opportunities. Let the haters hate. Let them sell the stocks. And then that's just more opportunity to own them. Go back to Tesla, right? At $200, you can pound the table. At $430, if that stock sells off again, you continue to buy it. And then when it's $600, it's the same thing. And that's been our view of so many of these names. If you focus just on valuation 1 year out, you've missed every transformational growth stock the last 20 years.
Then we've noticed quantum computing stocks are getting a lot of attention today and are very volatile right now. We know it's a big tech for the future. What's your general outlook for quantum computing? Because a lot of people, investors, are into Ionic and other related stocks.
Yeah, Rigetti, D-Wave, IONQ being our favorites. Look, I think as a tech investor, you have to have some exposure to quantum. Now, quantum's not going to happen overnight, but I believe in a portfolio you should have, as a tech portfolio, 3-5% exposure to quantum, given my view where it's going over the next 4 or 5 years. Now, there are obviously some thoughts about the US government might invest in some quantum companies. There's a Wall Street Journal report. They denied it. I think that's something that still likely probably happens, given a US investment in one of these quantum companies. There's a scarcity value. If you want to own them, my view is you own the pure plays, and IONQ, Rigetti, D-Wave, obviously being the core names.
The pure players, you mentioned 3 companies. Which of the 3 companies do I have to pick?
To me, it's IONQ, just given their technology and scale is the one that I think continues to stand out. Rigetti is another one. I could argue you could play quantum through IBM on large cap. There's also going to be large cap ways to play it. IBM is probably one of the leaders right now when it comes to quantum. And I think you're going to also see a lot of consolidation acquisitions in the space.
Thank you for your view. Then the next question would be, we know you're the chairman of Eightco Holdings, which holds a lot of Worldcoin as its main asset. From a long-term investment view, what's the strong choice right now? Buying the Eightco stock or buying the Worldcoin token?
Personally, I believe it's Eightco because we're not just a vehicle that's buying world. We're going to be an enterprise distribution platform for companies that go into AI and are looking at authentication, human proof in the future. You know, I think one of the things that you've seen with like Michael Saylor strategy, MicroStrategy, you know, Tom Lee and Bitminer, which was obviously an investor in Eightco, what they've done with Ives. What we're doing is a little different because we're not just a treasury. We are an AI tech play. We're essentially AI meets crypto. That's our view. Now there's the treasury strategy, but when you look behind you at the utility, it's one of the only utilities that we really see in the crypto world in terms of orbs. And that's our view. This is we're part of building out what's going to be a big part of the AI infrastructure stack.
Adding on to that, biometric data regulation is one of the Worldcoin's biggest problem that's holding them back. If a few big countries say no, how much of a hit does that put on the value?
I think that's probably one of the biggest misunderstandings out there, that in terms of biometric, like, oh, they have my data. Your data stays on that orb for 10 to 15 seconds and basically disappears, and you have that data now on your phone. So I would argue that it is as safe of any technology and safe as any sort of privacy out there in terms of the way that they built it. They basically have built, if you look what Sam Alex and the team of tools have built, they've built a technology that's years ahead of anything else out there. And it's private, and it has a network with obviously 17.5 million humans that have already signed up. We think that's going to be 100 million in the next year.
I didn't know the information disappears in 10 seconds.
Exactly. That's one of the things. It's like, I think a big thing that I've been doing since we launched Eightco, it's really education. Publicly, investors, consumers, it's trying to educate people. There's people like, I don't want to do Uber because they're going to have my information. Now, do you think about that? In other words, like, I don't want to do AI because I don't know where that data is going to be. We don't want to go to cloud with Microsoft because it's going to go into their data center. Is that an issue today? No. So it speaks to my view. This is no different. It's a technology. It's early days, but I think we're going to sit here in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and it's not even going to be a thought process, just given the privacy piece and just how secure it is.
So I wanted to ask, what strategic strategies are you expecting from key investors like Bitmine Immersion Tech? And what specific support are they providing to Worldcoin treasury strategies?
Yeah, and Tom, you know, being such a good friend of mine for decades, he was here, obviously not too long ago, and I was on the Zoom. Look, it's the reason Bitminer is their first investment, right, in terms of Eightco. Not just because of the Ethereum link, but because it's their view of the utility that this is going to play. But we believe there's going to be a lot of other major investors that focus on what we're doing. And the reason that that's important is because it's investors understanding the future, that this is not just a treasury strategy. If this is just a treasury and we were just buying world, then that would be something that would be like so many other people what they're doing, just whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum. The difference with this, it's an AI tech play. And that's something that I think is going to be understood more and more by investors. And that's obviously a big part of what we view with the stock in terms of as this becomes much more of a tech play than a crypto play.
There's a question about MicroStrategy, which holds a huge amount of Bitcoin. Their stock price used to track Bitcoin very closely, but lately some investors feel that the correlation between them is weakening. Do you think MicroStrategy's stock price will keep moving up and down with Bitcoin in the future, or is MicroStrategy now trading based more on its own business plan?
Look, I mean, I've known Michael Saylor going back to late 90s. So, I mean, there's no one that I'm more a believer in terms of what he's doing, that company. And it's also the view of, really the origin of the strategy. I think they're going through maybe a pause or a digestion period, but this isn't the end. This is just something where I think MicroStrategy will significantly outperform the relative value of Bitcoin. That's our view. Obviously, if you go back and you look at it, I mean, Bitcoin at one point was up, 10x, MicroStrategy was up 30x. So you're going to have maybe some compression. You've seen that, but I view that as temporary. And I, personally continue to be very bullish in everything Saylor is doing.
Let's talk about the crypto market. When do you think the next big crypto bull run will start, or is it happening already? Or
I think it's happening right now. I think you saw this, obviously the massive liquidation sell-off a few weeks ago. You had some major big crypto conferences, Singapore, Korea, across the board. I think, especially, it's our view, like U.S. Reserve starts to go more and more toward Bitcoin. That's a policy that we've been in DC talking about. Whether it's Bitcoin going to 250,000, Ethereum going to 15,000, our view World going to 10 and ultimately $20. I think that bull run actually now goes into year end. I think 2026 is going to be a huge year for not just tech and risk assets, but specifically for crypto.
What's your price prediction for Worldcoin tokens over the next year?
So we've said $20 or $30 is our long-term prediction. We think $10 in the next year.
How about Bitcoin?
And Bitcoin 250,000, Ethereum 15,000, bull case, base case 12,000. And look, but it speaks to my view is that we are in a revolutionary time for disruptive tech and for assets that we're seeing not just on crypto, but in AI. I do think more and more what you're going to see is an intersection between AI and crypto, both from a technology perspective, obviously we play in Eightco, but in terms of just the broader market. And that's what I find such an exciting time to be an investor because of where the future's heading. Despite, as I always say, like, when the bears are in their hibernation mode, in their caves, they can't see AI in the spreadsheets.
Dan, you're one of the most famous and influential tech report experts on Wall Street. What do you think is the biggest driving force that brought you up right at this top?
I think sometimes it's conviction in our beliefs and conviction in the work we do of the winners and not letting market fluctuations or the haters get you off your game. It's very easy to go with the sheep and go with the flock. Sometimes you have to be different. And a lot of what we're known for, around the world, like being early in Tesla, early in Apple, early in Nvidia, Palantir, many others, even though today that sounds like so great, at the time, there were so many moments where investors, I'd go into meetings and people would be like, you might be the stupidest person I've ever met believing that Apple is going to actually unseat BlackBerry. That is a ridiculous concept. I mean, I don't see too many BlackBerries in the room. I mean, there could be one, you never know. But, so it speaks to my view of like, you can't let the haters get you down.
Dan, thank you so much for making such incredible time.
I would just say, first of all, thanks to everyone coming here Sunday night. Hopefully enjoy the wine, food, and everything. And I just appreciate everyone being here. And look, we have 2 or 3 more years in this tech bull market. Don't let the noise, the haters, the news flow, whatever it may be, get you off your game. When they sell them and these stocks sell off, own the winners. And that continues to be our view. And I would rather be owning tech in the left lane, which is a Ferrari going 100 miles an hour, even though you get some speeding tickets here and there, than be owning value names in the right lane in a minivan with a broken radio and a bumper sticker saying my kid was an honor student in third grade.
네, 여러분 큰 박수 한번 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다.